Hello and welcome to Howard's Horse Handicapping. This is Howard Kravitz. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on a snowy night here in the Chicago area. It is Thursday, February 4th. Welcome to the show. So happy you can be here. If you're new to the show, there's a lot of things that you need to do. First of all, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We need to have more subscribers. We need to make sure you spread the word so we can get this channel up and running as quickly as we can and get a lot of viewership. I look forward to you subscribing. If you've not done so, please make sure you tell your friends all about Howard's Horse Handicapping. Also, you can see we have now started to scroll at the bottom of the screen, so please make sure you read that information. Please join me on Twitter at @HKravitz. Please follow me. I'll be sending out picks throughout the weekend, making comments, updates about the show, etc. So again, please make sure you find me on Twitter at @HKravitz and follow me there as well. We have a lot of things that we need to talk about. I'm making improvements with the show. As you can see, we'll have a musical intro soon enough and a lot of other interesting things going on. I hope to possibly have some guests at some point. We'll possibly be Zooming with all you viewers out there. So again, please follow me on Twitter for a lot more information as we go along. Folks, if you have been following the show so far or following me, listen, I've been hot. I'd like to believe I usually have good picks for you, but two of the last three public picks I've given have really worked out very well. The first Gulfstream pick 4 that I put out, and then let's talk about last Sunday very briefly. Sam Houston, late pick 5. If Skyride, the 5 horse, who was a price horse I liked, if he had not dead heated with the 9 and just won outright, we already hit it, and I hit it a few times. It would have paid at least $400 or $500 more for 50 cents if Skyride, who was 6.6 to 1 in that race, had won outright. It was a dead heat, which hurt us a little bit, even though we also had the second horse. And the last race, Stunning Sky, who just barely lost, again would have made the payout bigger because that was an A horse for me, and I pressed up more there. Anyway, the pick 5 still worked out very well. We faded the correct horses, including a Pletcher horse I did not like, and some other horses catch a bid in the last race, who was off for several months and off of Chad Brown to Joe Sharp. That horse didn't run well. I was dubious of her chances as well. So a lot of things worked out very well. Again, that's what this show is about. I hope to continue to get you winners. Wednesday was a very good day for me. I hit the pick 5, finished first in a stable duel contest and also third in a stable duel contest. So things are rolling right along. I'm very fortunate and happy that things are going well. And again, I hope to find a lot of winners for you this upcoming weekend. Before we get into the pick 6, some big news that just broke only about an hour or two ago. If you've been paying attention to the Kentucky Derby future bets, there's a horse that has been getting a ton of buzz that has not even run yet. This is a Baffert's horse, and the name of the horse is Bezos. Very interesting name. This horse has been as low as 11 to 1 in some of the books in Vegas for the future Derby bet, which to me is absolutely crazy for a horse that has not even run yet. Bezos is running, was just announced a few hours ago, this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, in race 5, I believe, at Santa Anita. He's going to be the 5 horse. I'm sure he's going to be very interesting to watch. I watched a few workouts on this horse. This is a big, strapping colt. Doesn't look like he breaks that fast out of the gate. I have a feeling this is going to be a stalk and pounce type on Sunday, but this horse looks huge. He looks talented. We might see a Zenyatta kind of performance when Zenyatta broke her maiden, if anyone remembers that race, or you can go watch it on YouTube. I'm not saying Bezos is going to be the next Zenyatta or the next superstar, but I'll tell you what, all signs are pointing to Bezos for Bob Baffert running Sunday in a maiden at Santa Anita to be an absolute monster. I'm looking forward to that maiden race probably as much as some of the stake races that we're going to be talking about today. So, if you have not downloaded the past performances for Santa Anita on Saturday, you might want to do that. My guess is those of you that are watching the show tonight are going to be watching it even maybe tomorrow, Friday, have not really done your deep dive handicapping into the pick six on Saturday. I've, of course, done that, prepared. I'm going to be showing you some replays. But again, you might want to have your past performances out if you have those downloaded or printed out for Saturday's Santa Anita mandatory, and it's only 20 cents, 20-cent pick six. Now, before we get into the actual races, a few comments about the mandatory pick six. Yes, I usually play pick fours and pick fives, but I do not like playing the 20-cent pick six at any track unless it's a mandatory payout day. It just doesn't make sense from a value standpoint. But Santa Anita is expecting not only the pick six, by the way, but there's 4 graded stake races being run on Saturday, which the field sizes were a little bit bigger. However, you have some really nice horses running on Saturday in these stake races. The 20-cent mandatory pick six, assuming it doesn't pay out on Friday, which is unlikely, will be excess 4 or 5 million in the pool. And with all that money in there and the free money in there from the carryover, it's just a bet that I cannot resist. It's a bet I usually play at Gulfstream and Santa Anita and the New York circuit when they have the mandatory 20-cent pick six payout. And just like I've done before, I'm going to be giving you, at the end of this broadcast, we'll be giving you the ABC ticket and also the Caveman ticket. One other thing I forgot to mention, please, on your left, guys, I want you to chat. I want to hear your comments, anything about the show, specifically about the races I go over, about who your selections are, if you have any interesting long shots you like, any favorites you are going to single, or any favorites you want to toss. Please comment if you're listening live on the chat below. The only way we can get this going is by getting that chat going. We already have a bunch of people watching right now. Again, if you're watching now, please call your gambling friends, tell them to come on to the show right now and join us tonight for a great session of handicapping and conversation. So let's get right into it. The pick six starts in race 5. There are 2 graded stake races that occur before the pick six. I'll be talking those at the end of our show here tonight. I want to start with the 5th race, the opening leg of the pick six. Now, you have to make a decision when you're playing a pick six, even when it's a 20-cent pick six. How are you going to go about constructing your tickets? Where are you going to take a stand? I think even a 20-cent pick six, you do need to take some stands somewhere, unless you just have an unlimited budget. The minimum a 20-cent pick six would realistically pay, the minimum would be $800 to $1,000. It's unlikely it's going to pay less than $800. It could pay, of course, $40,000, $50,000. That's unlikely, I think, in this sequence. But I can see this sequence easily paying anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000, $20,000, depending on what happens, because there are some very tough races in the sequence that we're going to be talking about. So let's jump right in and talk about these races. And I'm going to be showing you some replays also. So here is the 5th race. The 5th race is the opening leg of the pick six. California bred, 3-year-old filly maidens restricted. Claim price $50,000. They're going 6.5 on the dirt. In my personal opinion, race 5, this first leg, and the last leg, which is race 10, are by far the most difficult races of this sequence. And in my opinion, you have to spread in the first leg and last leg for sure, without any question, because these 2 races are extremely difficult. I also want to say that when I show you the picks and when I talk about my picks, I do not have the workout reports for Saturday. I do believe in workout reports. You can buy them for usually around $10, $12. I think in a ticket, in a bet like this, they're well worth it, especially when you have 2 maiden races and you also have some horses coming off layoffs. So I'm going to readily admit that what you see tonight are not my final decisions. I need to see the workout reports, which I, by the way, would recommend you look at the National Turf, which is Andy Harrington's workout report out west. That comes out 24 hours before the races. So I need to look at those workout reports to make some final decisions, for sure. So let's take a look at the first race, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about my A horses first. And there's some replays that I think are very interesting that we need to watch. So again, I think this race is absolutely wide open. The first horse I want to talk about, which is one of my A horses, is the 3, Allergic to Logic. Flavian Pratt, Brian Corner. Now, there are some horses coming out of common races, so we really need to watch some replays here for sure. The first one we're going to watch is actually the January 26th race involving the 4 Medusa's Gaze. There's also a few other horses in this field, because Medusa's Gaze also is a horse for me that is going to probably take some money that frankly I don't like. So out of this race on the 26th, you have Half Hoping, who's the 11 horse on Saturday, Medusa's Gaze, who's the 4, Big Chick, who I believe is the 6 horse, and then I think is sort of a no-hoper, Here Comes Ralphie. So again, what you want to watch here, as you can see, you want to watch the 1, 3, 5, and 7, and I would pay particular attention to the 5 in this race and the 1 also. So I'm going to let this run, and we're going to put the sound on just a little bit so you can hear. You can see the 1 broke slow, and the 5 is the one that to me is very interesting. The 5 is Half Hoping. The 3 is Medusa's Gaze. Again, the 1 broke slow and is rushing up. 1, 3, 5 is what you want to watch here. When a horse on the inside rushes up, this is never a good thing. It's very hard to win from the inside rushing up. Big Chick rushes up. They won 22 and 2 for the first fraction. That's pretty quick. Notice Medusa's Gaze, to me, the 3 is getting absolute dream trip. And then you have the 5, Half Hoping, who's in between horses and also a first-time starter in this race. Again, Big Chick took pressure the whole way. Medusa's Gaze sitting pretty here. And the 5, Half Hoping, who's now in between horses, gets to the outside. And take a look at what happens to the 5 here. The 11 wins the race. And you'll see Big Chick on the inside start going backwards. And you see the 5's on the wrong lead. You see right here, he's on the wrong lead. He's swishing. He's just all over the place. But once Half Hoping straightens out and levels out, they go to the left hand. I really like this move here late. The horse is striding out nicely. To me, this is a solid effort for first-time starter. And you can see there, Half Hoping is the 5. The 3 is Medusa's Gaze. And the 1 is Big Chick. They are all going to be running on Saturday in the same race. So when you take a look at that race, to me, in my opinion, Half Hoping ran by far the best in that race. And then, after that, it's sort of up to the viewer what they think. But to me, Medusa's Gaze looked like he was getting, she was getting tired. I don't really like the effort. She really didn't have any excuse. I don't think 6.5 is what she wants at all in that race. Again, Half Hoping is the 11 who is running. There's the line for Half Hoping. Half Hoping, by the way, is an A for me in this race, which I'll run down. So I like Half Hoping a lot more. Now, Big Chick, who was the 6 in that race, you can make the argument that wasn't that very good of an effort. However, this horse rushed up into a fast pace. I think if she gets a better break and a better trip, I think she's a contender. I'm using her as a B horse at 15 to 1, first time Lasix. I think Big Chick is a little bit interesting in this race. Who I also like in this race as my A's. Allergic to Logic. Let's watch the 3 horses last race. Allergic to Logic. Now, in this last race, Allergic to Logic, and then you see Medusa's Gaze again, and then you see a horse Bandina, who I don't think has any chance to win this race. But let's go ahead and watch Medusa's Gaze and Allergic. This is the 1 and the 7. Now, Allergic to Logic, this was this filly's first race. So if you want to watch the 7 breaks okay, not bad. And what I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit. The 7's in a good spot. They are going a fast pace. The 1 is Medusa's Gaze. We just watched the 1 run. The 1 also has to rush up here a little bit. That's not a good thing normally. And the 7 is just sitting a sweet trip right here. This is Allergic to Logic, who is the 3 horse on the race on Saturday. Shows a little bit a middle move here. Is sitting very nicely on the inside. This is pretty professional. She's taking some dirt. She's got to wait. There's no real study here, but I think she's pretty professional. I like what I see in terms of taking dirt on the inside. And watch what happens once she does get loose. She's pretty far back here. I wouldn't say that the run that Allergic to Logic makes is anything, crazy impressive. She is pretty clear. Against Medusa's Gaze, again, is here the 1 on the inside. Allergic to Logic is now just starting to get rolling there and is gaining ground. Remember, this race on Saturday is an extra half furlong. But what I want you to watch the gallop out here. Watch the gallop out with the 1 and the 7. I do like watching gallop outs. I do think they matter. And I'm just going to freeze it here. And if you see the gallop out right here, I'm going to go ahead and freeze it. The 7 is already a good part in front of the 1, Medusa's Gaze. So again, this proves to me that I do not like Medusa's Gaze at all. And Allergic to Logic, second time out, I believe will take a big step forward in this race on Saturday. The other horse that I'd like to use as my A's, and by the way, we're not going to take as much time in every single race, but I think this race is interesting, and it's the opening leg. The 10. The 10 is 6-1, Pawnee. I'm not going to show you a replay. This is my other A. This horse has been off since August 9th. So this horse has been off a while, and she was on the turf for Thomas Bell, and that day was Flavian Pratt. Why do I like Pawnee? First of all, this horse got a very respectable number. I know for this level, I know it was a turf race, but if you take a look at the dam of this horse was a poly horse. This horse ran a nice race on dirt. If you take a look at some of the siblings that have run for this horse, Howell has been mainly a dirt horse. Again, no superstar, but mainly a dirt horse. And you look down, you see dirt horses here to some extent for the dam of the 10 Pawnee, that the dam is holler. What am I trying to tell you? I think this horse is going to handle the dirt. I like the fact this horse has had some time to grow and develop. First time Lasix. And look who's on him. Rispoli. Rispoli is not a jockey that rides for Thomas Bell too often. So I sort of like that angle. I like the outside post. I think there's a lot of speed in the race. And I think she's going to close. So, to recap, the A's in this race for me are 3, Allergic to Logic, the 10, Pawnee, and the 11, Half Hoping. Those are my A's in this race. The B's, I'm going with 5, Race Judicata, Phil D'Amato. I think this horse might be better on dirt for Pfeiffer. I think this horse, again, is interesting a little bit, dropping down the main special weight. I'm also using the 6, Big Chick, who we saw in the replay, who had to rush up from the inside as a B. And I'm also using Curious Ingy, also dropping for Jeff Mullins from turf to dirt, who showed speed. But I'm not so sure that, number 1, she wants dirt, and number 2, I think there's a decent amount of speed in this race. I'm not sure those are going to work in her favor. I'm also going to use 2, 4, 8 as C's. I'll use Miss Rebecca as a C, as a backup first-time Lasix with a very good work. Medusa's Gaze, I don't love. I'm going to use her as a C just because she will show speed, but I've already talked about several reasons why I don't like Medusa's Gaze. And then the 8, Elise. Now, why in the world would Howard put the 8, Elise, on the ticket? Eric Kruljack, the trainer of Elise, had a 100-1 shot that won in a main claiming race a few weeks ago with a horse that looked absolutely impossible. And in this kind of race, first-time Lasix puts Giovanni Franco on. Listen, I have no idea if this horse can run, but I'm basically using every horse in this race, so I'm not going to let an Eric Kruljack trained horse beat me out of the first leg. So, this is really called a weighted all bun. I think the only horse I actually didn't use in this ticket is the 7, Throw the 7 on there if you want. But I'm using every horse in this race one way or another on my ticket. Actually, I'm not using the 12, excuse me. The 12 I'm not using. So I'm not using the 12 and not using the 7. I'm using every other horse in a weighted, basically all button except for 2 in the first race. A very tough race to start the pick 6. Let's go on to race 6. I'm going to be also commenting on some chats. Brendan Cassidy, thank you very much for joining me tonight. You have a question. You said you don't play the West Coast tracks. Any track buys at Santa Anita? It's a tricky question. Santa Anita's been pretty fair. In general, Brendan, you want to be forwardly placed at Santa Anita, especially going one turn. It's hard to close in a sprint from very far back. You can certainly close from mid-pack. I would say in sprints and routes, really, your best being either up close or mid-pack. It's hard to deep close, really, at Santa Anita. I've not seen any biases recently. They got a lot of rain last week. It's been absolutely beautiful this week. It's going to be beautiful there on Saturday. I will say the rails are going to be down on the turf course, which usually tends to favor closers a little bit. The rails are going to be already down to 0 feet, which again tends to favor closers, but I wouldn't read too much into that. Let's go on to the next race. Race 6. Let me show you the Equibase. This is an allowance race on the turf, 1.1 miles. This is an N2X, non-winners of 2. This is a 10-horse field, and this is where I'm going to take a stand. Now, again, in pick 6s, folks, you have to take stands to some extent. I've talked about this many times before. Pick 5s, pick 6s, you need to take some stands, and I'm going to be taking a stand here. My lone A in this race, and probably a horse that a lot of people are going to be singling, is the 6, Whisper Not. This horse is 9 to 5 morning line. I would be absolutely shocked if this horse does not go off lower than that. I've bet Whisper Not. I've chased this horse the last 2 times, full disclosure. Last time, and I'm going to show you the race 2 back, but you can see, I'm going to show you the last race. The race 2 back, which I'm not going to show you, this horse steadied. It was his first time in the U.S. You can see that he has European form for Richard Baltus and ran a much better race than it showed. And then last time, I pounded this horse, to be honest, at 5-2 in a contest that I was playing in the grade 2 race when he was up against the tough horses. I'm going to show you the replay. He ran very well. He got a 94, which absolutely towers over any horse in this field. Let's take a look at Whisper Not. Whisper Not, first of all, you look at the horses he was facing. Smooth Like Straight, really nice stake horse. Storm the Court, won the Breeders' Cup as a 2-year-old, is an improving horse on the turf. Field Pass, Scardo, these are serious horses, folks, that if they were in the race that Whisper Not is in on Saturday, it'd be 1-10, Smooth Like Straight probably. Let's take a look. I'm going to show you the key part of the race here. Whisper Not is the 1 horse, and I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward to the key point of the race. Whisper Not got a very nice stalking trip on the inside, but here's where you need to watch carefully. Joel Rosario has been on the 1 the last 2 times. He stays on the inside. I've got no problem with that. He tries to get through on the inside, and you'll see right here as he maybe finding room, right there, boom. Right there, he had to steady. I'm going to go have you watch it again. It's not the biggest steady. It's sort of subtle, but he definitely lost momentum. Again, watch the 1, Rosario. This is Whisper Not. Sitting pretty. He thought he had a hole. He probably did have a little bit of a hole. Gets shut off there. He steadies. Now he loses about a length and a half. And now as he tries to get to the outside, he's got Field Pass on his flank, and he really can't get completely clear as Smooth Like Straight, the 5 horse, just goes on with it. He's still closing nicely. He's fighting in between horses. And I want you to watch the gallop out. Again, I think gallop outs are important. Whisper Not is in between here. I just like the fact this horse wants to keep running. You see he's still running there on the gallop out. I don't think distance is going to be an issue at all. You see him, the one horse there, continuing to gallop out willingly. To me, that's a good sign. He wants to still run. You can see the final time, fast, 1:33 and 2. This was a very solid effort to me. So, folks, in my opinion, and I'm just going to very quickly scroll down the rest of the field here. Whisper Not is my lone A. As you look down the field, again, remember Whisper Not's got buyers of 92 and 94 in his last 2 starts. Buyers are not everything, but you see horses in their low 80s for the most part. Again, you don't even see any 90s really on the card at all. You just see low 80s, mid 80s everywhere. No one has even come close to the number that Whisper Not has run in his last 2. I'm really hoping Joel Rosario actually keeps him out in the clear. I do not want this horse on the inside at all. I want this horse outside in the clear, even if he has to go 4 or 5 wide. Now, usually when people zig, I like to zag in a pick 6. Let me go back to another screen here for you. So usually when people zig, I like to zag. So I like to be a little bit contrarian. This is a spot where I'm not going to be contrarian. You have to decide what you want to do with Whisper Not. If you like other horses, go ahead. The problem is there are other races in the sequence where I really think you have to go deep. So I think a lot of people are going to single Whisper Not. I'm not going to get cute. If Whisper Not does not win the 6th race, I'm probably going to lose the pick 6. And you know what? I can accept that. I can deal with that. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just have to do what you got to do. So I am using 2 seahorses in this race that I just want to point out to you. I'm using the 2 Greg Dar as a backup seahorse here. Greg Dar has speed. That's why I want to use him. Also as Mike Smith. The horse will be forwardly placed in case he gets the distance and can get loose. He's very lightly raced, only 5 lifetime starts. I'm going to use him as a seahorse in case he improves with distance and maybe somehow gets loose. And I'm also going to use a horse that I know a lot of people are probably going to think I'm crazy, but that's fine. The 7, Galgan. Galgan is an 8-year-old, and he's 1 for 27. Usually 2 things that I absolutely would completely toss. However, there's a few reasons why I think this horse is interesting. First of all, he's been in the money. He's been 2nd or 3rd 8 or 9 times. It's not as if this horse can't run. He's been right there many times. Neil Drysdale is a new trainer for this horse. Obviously, Bill Mott is fantastic. So going to Neil Drysdale, who doesn't train a lot of horses these days really, but is a Hall of Fame trainer, picks up this horse. And here's my main angle. There's 2 actual angles. 1, I like the blinkers on. Number 2, East Coast horses are just clearly superior to West Coast horses. It's been proven over and over and over again. So this is this horse's first time out west. If he takes to the surface and something happens with Whisper Not, I don't see any reason why this horse is not the 2nd or 3rd best horse in this race, and I'm going to use him defensively as a C. But again, to me, it's all about Whisper Not. If he loses, I'm probably not going to hit the ticket, although I still could. Let's go to the first of the 2 grade stake races of this sequence. This is the San Vicente. This is for 2-year-olds. Excuse me, this is for 3-year-olds. Grade 2, 7 furlongs on the dirt. There's a horse that we might see in the PPs that's already scratched. Mr. Impossible, who's the 3 horse, is already being scratched. He's going to run in the maiden race on Sunday, actually against Bezos. So Mr. Impossible is out of this race. This is only a 5-horse field, but let me tell you something. This is a talented 5-horse field. My A in this race, and probably many A's, will be the 6 Concert Tour. This is a Baffert horse, Joel Rosario, for owners Gary and Mary West. And when I watch this horse run, this horse reminds me of another Gary and Mary West horse, although a very controversial one, and that is Maxim Security. Just watch the replay of this horse, Concert Tour's first start. He was the 4 in this race. I thought he was ultra impressive. He breaks well. I'm just going to let this race run. He breaks well. You see him in the pink colors. Not super quick out of the gate, but he's got to ask a little bit to get position. And now Concert Tour is in a perfect spot. He is in between horses a little bit, but he's rating so nicely. Look at the hands of Joel Rosario. He is just absolutely tugging. This horse wants to go so badly and wants to run. He easily just glides by past the 25 to 1 shot. Okay, no big deal there. But look at the hold he has on this horse. This horse is running so easily. He's just toying with the competition right now. Now here comes Mr. Impossible, who's running again on Sunday. Comes to his flank, and now, folks, you got a horse race here. But again, look at the hands of Joel Rosario. He is just sitting chilly as can be. The horse is very professional, and here's what I really like. I really like the turn of foot. He lets this horse out a little bit. He has not even touched this horse with the stick at all. And then look at this horse glide in the final. He looks back, and this horse is wrapped up in hand, easily winning, going a very nice time of 1:10-2. He gallops out great. This horse looks like he could be an absolute monster. Who knows what his ceiling is. Concert Tour ran a big race. He is my lone A. I love the fact also that Concert Tour is going to be on the outside in this race, and he can just look to his inside and see what he's got. The two horses I'm using as Bs, Freedom Fighter. Freedom Fighter is another Bob Baffert trainee for Drain Van Dyke, who has not run since August. I don't really like that. There's no reason why Bob Baffert would have probably liked to run this horse, I'm assuming, in some grade stake races at Del Mar and then in the Breeders' Cup. But for whatever reason, they've decided to give this horse some time to grow and develop. This horse went pretty slow in his opening half there, 47, first quarter 23-1 at Del Mar. But I got to be honest, this horse was really only asked towards the end. I've seen more impressive main races, but this horse to me has got big time upside. He's been working really well, out of violence, great sire. But there's two problems with this horse for me. Number one, he's got an inside post, and he's being pressed by my other B horse, the Chosen Varan, who, by the way, ran an absolute hole in the wind on December 27th. That was against Calbreds, but that was a very, very impressive race. And look at these fractions, 21-4, 45-3. The Chosen Varan was supposed to run in the Cal Cup Derby and was scratched out in this race, had a minor issue, but since then he's been working well. I'm not overly concerned about that, but it's not ideal. Here's my point. Freedom Fighter, the one, is going to get pressed by the Chosen Varan, I would think, if not by Concert Tour. So Concert Tour is my lone A. I'm using Freedom Fighter and Chosen Varan as my B horses. I am not using Uncle Boogie. Looks way too slow. Found my ball, ran a nice race, but that was against State Breds for Doug O'Neill. It was only 2 weeks ago. I don't like the quick turn back. I'm sure this horse could probably be in the money. But again, I'm only concerned about who's going to win. I don't think Find My Ball is going to beat those other three. Let's go on to the third leg of this sequence. The third leg is the other grade stake race of this sequence. It's race 8. It's the Thunder Road, grade 3, going a mile on turf. This is an 8-horse field, an interesting one. I think I'm not going to go too deep in this race. I think you have some decisions that you do need to make. I see Jerry Richmond has joined the chat. Jerry's a good friend of mine. Thanks, Jerry, for joining me tonight. I know Jerry mentioned that he's shocked I picked Whisper Not. Jerry happened to be about 6 feet socially distant distance away from me as we were watching that race together. So he knows why I like Whisper Not for sure. Jerry, thanks for joining the show. Hope you can entertain us with some more chats. And Jerry, I hope to actually get on the show. He's an excellent handicapper, great friend of mine, has a lot of excellent picks that he's made. Also enjoys playing Stable Duel. I hope to get him on the show at some point. So I can be chatting with him as well. Excuse me. So sorry, 1 second here. So let's talk about the next race here, and let's look at the PPs, excuse me, as I'm working through a few technical issues here. So here is the 8th race, the Grapeview Thunder Road. Let's go to my top choices first. My top choices are the 2 horses on the outside. And my top 2 choices are going to be the 7, Bob and Jackie, and the 8, Hembry. Those are both my A horses in this race. Let's talk about Bob and Jackie. To me, this is the best speed horse in this race. There is other speed in this race. Last time you can see Bob and Jackie, by the way, grade 2s. This is a classy animal, always ridden by Figueroa, who knows this horse well. The last time they put this horse on the front against another Twist of Fate, who just ran at the Pegasus Turf race and ran a very solid race. They went a little bit quick. I'm not sure a mile and 1/8 is what Bob and Jackie wants. I think Bob and Jackie's a little better going shorter. And Richard Baltus was quoted this week as saying that they probably will not put this horse on the lead this time. And I like that. I think this horse can just stalk the speed. And I think he's a very likely winner at what I think could be a halfway decent price. He's 5-2 morning line. The other horse I like is a closer, and that's Hembry. For Peter Miller, Joel Rosario. This is a very good 7-year-old who's won almost $1 million. I will admit that I did not love him last time, going 6.5 in the Joe Hernandez. I thought that distance was too short for him. But Joel Rosario gave this horse an unbelievable trip and a great ride, and he won for Peter Miller. Now he's stretching back out to a mile. That should suit this horse just fine. He's got races on the go back that can easily win this race. And if the pace gets heavy, I think it's the best closer that you want out of this race. So my other A here is going to be Hembry. Let's go to the inside, because here's where you have to make some decisions. The 1 horse, Sambaye, is also trained by Peter Miller. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Now, I think it can be tricky when you try to play the jockey game. So Peter Miller's got 2 horses in this race. He's putting Juan Hernandez on the 1, and again on the 8, he's got Joel Rosario. Let me give you some stats. Excuse me, the stats I have are for another race. I apologize. But Peter Miller, if you look here at the bottom at this meet, Hernandez is only 8%, so 1 for 13 for Peter Miller. And you look at Joel Rosario, 31%. At this meet for Peter Miller. That just tells me that he's going to put Joel Rosario on what he thinks is the better horse. At least that's what makes sense to me. Again, if you disagree, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. Sambaye has speed. Sambaye was really good at Gulfstream last spring for Pletcher. Getting very good trips, though, but you can see he raced against Social Paranoia, Hey Dakota. Then he was off a while, and Peter Miller, an excellent trainer, of course, but he hasn't run back to those numbers at Gulfstream. So maybe this horse just really likes Gulfstream. Maybe he just isn't as good as he used to be. I'm using Sambaye as a B because I'm almost 100% positive this horse is going to be sent because Peter Miller has the 8, Hembry, who's a closer. So I'm not saying Sambaye is being used to set up for Hembry, but I think this is definitely a good alternative as a B horse. The other B horse I'm going to use is Restrained Vengeance, who for some reason, I have no idea why, is 15-1. Now listen, this horse is going to be ridden by Ruben Fuentes. He's a 7% jockey. He's not a top jockey there, but he can win on turf. And most importantly, what I like, he knows this horse. He's been on this horse the last 2 times. All this horse has been and is in great stake races. And you look at his turf numbers, other than the 1 race at Golden Gate, is very respectable. I don't understand the morning line here at 15-1. I think he's going to stalk. If he gets a good trip, I see no reason why Restrained Vengeance can't be a factor at possibly a big price in this race. I'm using Restrained Vengeance as a B horse. Now, the horse that I'm a little bit against that's going to take some money is the 2, Hit the Road. Hit the Road is a very lightly raced 4-year-old. So you would assume there's still upside there. He's 4 for 7. He's got Rispoli, Dan Blacker. Here's what I don't like. There's a lot of stops and starts with this horse. Now, last year, he ran in the Breeders' Cup. He was only 2 lengths off of Structor. He was off 5 months and ran a monster race, first time as a 3-year-old, and beat nice older allowance horses with an 89, and then came back and won the Oceanside on opening day at Del Mar with an 87. Listen, he beat a Journey to Freedom, who just almost won on Sunday at Sam Houston. I'm not taking anything away from this horse. This horse is working well. I just don't like the fact that now we have another long layoff. This one's even longer, about 6.5 months. And I think this is the saltiest field that he's faced. Hit the Road for me is going to be a C. If Hit the Road wins, I'm going to be in trouble. But he's going to have to come off a long layoff against a solid field. He's going to have to run a number that's 5 to 10 points better than he's probably ever run before. And I'm just not so sure that he can do it. If you have the money and you want to move this horse to a B horse or even an A, I would understand it. I just don't like another layoff against tougher horses. I'm using Hit the Road as a C. That is the Thunder Road Stakes. Let's go to race 9. This is the penultimate race of the pick 6. Race 9 is a large field. This is maiden, 16,000 down to 12.5. They're going 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, non-winners of 2. So this is, again, one of these sort of wide open races that you're going to have to make some decisions on. I'm not going as deep in this race as I am the first and last, but I do think you do need to go deep in this race because there are a lot of contenders. Let's talk about the horses that I like most in this race. The first horse I want to talk about is an A horse, and again, I will show you my ticket here at the end, is 3 Arch Bay Mafia, the 8 horse, 4-1 morning line. I think this is the best speed in the race. First of all, this horse is dropping down. He did win. He broke his maiden for 20. So this is just the logical spot. Starting maiden special weight. Look who 3 Arch Bay Mafia raced in his first race. He faced Nadal. And he was battling with Nadal to a 21-4 and a 44-4.5. So this horse had no chance against an absolute monster. He took a long layoff. He dropped him in for 20, and he won with him. And then the last time, again, look at these fractions. 22-44. This horse has been up close to 22 and 44 halves in 2 of his 3 starts. Now this is the 3rd time in the form cycle. Gets a nice outside post. Has been working well. Is one of the faster horses early in this race. I like 3 Arch Bay Mafia. Now, there's a lot of speed in this race. So before I talk about my other 2 horses I like as A's, let me show you the early pace figures here. You've got Turn the Clock Zero, who's got a 95 early time form. You've got Prince Ricky, who's the speed of the speed here. I don't like him, though, but he's 112 on the early time form. You've got More Bubbly, another speed horse, 106 early time form. You have Coil to Strike, only an 85 time form, but coming out of 1,000-yard races at Los Al. Then you can even look further down. Actually, those are the speed horses. So what I'm trying to tell you is I think there is enough speed here. And then, of course, you have the 8, who I think is the best speed horse. So you've got a lot of speed in this race. And again, they are going, let me double check, 6.5, I believe. They are going 6.5. So you've got that extra half furlong. To me, this sets up for a closer if it's not 3 Arch Bay Mafia. And the 2 closers I want in this race are the 9 Squalatoro, 6-1 morning line. The 9's only 1 for 7, broke his maiden, but you can see this horse getting better and better from Mike Pipey. Got Juan Hernandez aboard. This horse has run 270 Beyer speed figures. There's absolutely no reason why Squalatoro cannot win this race. I think he's one of the best closers in this race. I expect the pace to heat up, and I would take 6-1 all day on Squalatoro. One of my price horses of this entire sequence, ladies and gentlemen, so if I'm right, you're going to be very happy, is the 10, No-No's Polaris. Let me explain a few reasons why I like No-No's Polaris. 15-1 morning line. This is my other A horse in this race. First of all, this is a closer. Again, I'm not a huge fan of closers to Santa Anita, but I think there's a lot of speed in this race to set it up. This horse is run competitive buyers. You can see in the high 60s some of his races. He's a bit of an in and outer, but you know what? If he's an in and outer, you see 49, 67. Then he paired up that buyer top after a long break and then regressed to 45. So you know what? Maybe this horse is ready for a big step up again. This horse was gelded. You can see the G there. It was gelded a month ago. So this horse had time to adjust to the gelding. Usually it takes them a few weeks to a month to really appreciate the surgery there. This horse was working a little bit slower after the gelding, but look at the last work. And again, this is why you look at the workout report. 48-1 handily, 12 out of 51 in this field. That is a very good work. So the workout report might influence what I do with this horse. I want to see if what kind of grade that they give No-Nos Polaris on that work. But again, the bottom line is this horse going to close. I like the first time gelding. This horse is dropping down in class. If things fall apart, I see no reason why No-Nos Polaris cannot come running at what would be a huge price. The other horse I'm going to use in this race, I'm going to use the 1 Bird as a B horse. Again, another closer. I don't like the long layoff here, and he's just dropping down pretty much to the bottom, but he's got some competitive figs. I like Maldonado. Is going to save ground. Does have a good late time form US pace of 84. So if this horse is ready, I think he's also going to come running. You can see a theme here. I do like closers in this race. And the other horse I'm using as a B is going to be the 6, Zorich. Zorich is probably going to take more money than I think he should. This horse has a ton of, first of all, he's 1 for 20. I don't like that at all. This horse has consistently run numbers that are well enough, good enough to win this race, obviously. His last race, which I'm not going to show you, he had absolutely no excuses. It was a mile race. This horse is probably better sprinting, perhaps. But he was just sitting on the outside, then all of a sudden just completely fell apart. He just dropped back for no reason. I don't know what happened. This horse has been working well since. I'll give him that. But the fact that he's coming off of an absolutely awful race and that he's 1 for 20, I just cannot use this horse as an A. Would it shock me if he won? Absolutely not. So of my 5 top choices, guys, only 1 is the speed, and that is who I think the best speed horse is. As C's, I'm going to use the 3 Dreamers Reality in case this horse can handle the dirt for Mike Pipey. Again, he's dropping down, but I'm dubious. I'm not sure this horse wants dirt. If he wants dirt, he can absolutely win, and maybe I should move him up, but I'm not going to at this time. And the 5, More Bubbly, who ran a nice race, although it was maiden 20, but they were going pretty fast. He was in between horses. I'm not going to show you the replay, but it was actually a pretty impressive race for a first-time starter. But there's just other speed in this race that I think is better, and I think it's a tough ask to come out of a maiden 20 to win this race. I'm using More Bubbly as a C. But again, I need to see workout reports. If No-Nos Polaris did not get a very good grade on that February 2nd workout, I might make a change there. But I just think the 10 is interesting. All right, we are on to the last race of this Pick 6 sequence. And folks, this race is an absolute cluster. Thank you, Santa Anita. I say that jokingly because they put on a great card. The last race is always difficult. This is a 3-year-old filly restricted maiden race on the turf, going 6 furlongs for 50 to 45,000 maiden claimers. So this is a very tough situation here on what you want to do with this horse. Or with this race. You have to spread for sure, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at some horses that I like. And again, this is one of those races that I really need to look and see some workout reports because there's some horses I'm just not sure about. But I do have some stats that I'd like you to consider and a replay also I'd like to consider. Let's go to my top choices first of all. I have two top choices in this race, and they are on the screen right now, both of them. The 10, Lunatic. Love the name. Peter Miller, Abel Cedillo. Notice this horse has not been on the turf yet, but this is a drop down from main special weight. This horse has tactical speed. He's the first start did not run well. Second start, going 5.5, ran much better. And his last start did not run well. Let me just go in reverse chronological order. The last start, he was in a very quick speed duel against some very nice fillies. The horse that won, Miraz, is running in one of the stake races I'm going to quickly talk about on Saturday. I'm just tossing out that last race. This horse is not classy enough and doesn't want to go that far. The first race, the race 2 back, ran very well, was wide the entire trip at Los Alamitos in a main special weight, ran well. I have no issues there at all. That is a race that I believe we're going to, we'll take a look at that race in a minute. The Del Mar race, again, facing very good horses. Frosteria, Moonlight d'Oro was caught up in a speed duel. This horse is not that classy. Let's take a look at that December 5th race. I do want to show you this race. There's two horses that are coming out of this race that are running on Sunday. First of all, any of these italicized horses, Freedom Flyer came back and won. Honor America, another horse that came back and won. And Kind But She Lies is also in this race on Saturday. But I want you to focus on Lunatic is the 11 here, and the 1 is Kind But She Lies, who is also running on Saturday. So they're going to break from the gate. Lunatic broke well. Again, this is a race where Lunatic was 4 wide. And I'll let you just go and watch the race. Lunatic is all the way on the outside. Getting a good trip, but a wide trip. Kind She Lies is the 1 on the inside. But I really want to watch the 11 here. He's able to get over to the inside a little bit, which I like. He's still wide on the 11 here. There he steadies a little bit. And I think he's steady because he didn't want to be 7 wide. He steadies, and now he's in between horses here, coming through on the inside. Lunatic angles out into the 4 or 5 path here and really doesn't have a lot of excuses at this point. But again, this is a much tougher field. He's running well. He's running on. Hangs just a little bit. I will give you that. But again, this is a much tougher race. Is not quitting. Is still running on. To me, this is a good enough effort to win the race. Only loses there, as you can see, by a length and a half or so, getting a wide trip. To me, that's a pretty good effort, considering what this horse is going to be facing in this race on Saturday. There's other horses why I like this. There's other reasons why I like this 3-year-old filly. Starship Luna, the dam. Okay, obviously not very impressive. However, nor are the siblings that impressive. But when you look on the male side, Mishawish, the sire, was a very, very good turf horse. You might remember that horse. Ran in some big races. So on the male side, this horse is absolutely, without an issue, bred for turf. I don't think you have to be a monster to win this race. It's Peter Miller, first time on the turf. I'm using her as an A. The other A I'm going to use is Ragged Rose. I'm not going to show you the replay on this horse, but Ragged Rose did not a lot of running first time out for John Sadler. I will readily admit that. But I like the fact this horse has worked a few times since. Rispoli is on this horse. I'm expecting major improvement. This was a much better work here, that last work, and she's dropping down. So again, I'm expecting, this is not a very strong field. I'm expecting a much better effort. Second time out, Ragged Rose for Rispoli. There are 4 horses that I'd like to use as Bs. One of the horses is Adhana. the 2 for Doug O'Neill. Now, by the buyers, 60 and 61, this horse should be the favorite. And maybe this horse will just win. But there's 2 things I really don't like about this horse. First of all, this horse has 0, and I shouldn't say 0, has little turf pedigree, especially on the dam side. You Bought Her was a nice horse, but was mainly a dirt horse. California Chrome can win. Of course, he won his only start on turf. But I wouldn't say that turf is really what California Chrome's horses want to do. California Chrome's siblings are 2 for 9 on the turf. Okay, not bad. 0 for 19 routing. I just don't think this is a turf horse. And the other thing, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but the Centeno, the jockey, is 3 for 56. I'm not a huge fan of his. This horse has blinkers on. I can seriously understand why people would want to use this horse as an A, but I'm going to use her as a B. I'm hoping that this horse maybe doesn't want the turf. I'm not sure about the inside post, and I definitely know that I'm not a big fan of the jockey. But in saying all of that, Adhana can absolutely win this race. She's a B. The other horses I'm using is a B. Number 6, Golden Journey. You're like, what are you talking about? This horse lost by 24 and a quarter lengths. However, Richard Baltus is better second time out. This horse puts Lasix. He's got Gonzalez. This is a bad field. I'm expecting a major improvement from the 6. I'm using the 6 as a B. I'm also using the 8, Agree to Disagree, as a B. Now, I will say that this horse is out of Run Happy, and Run Happies are 0 for 17 on the turf. I might be moving this horse down, but this horse is dropping from main special weight. That's the main reason why I have this horse as a B. But I will say that I might be dropping this horse down to a C, depending on how I construct my ticket later. And the other horse I'm going to use is the 13, a first-time starter for John Sadler, named Perda Vida, who on paper has very good workouts. For Joel Rosario, again, I'm going to have to look at the workout report for that. But I do want to mention one thing that I think is worthwhile. Barry O'Brien, thank you for joining me. Also, Ramon, thank you for joining me. I will answer some questions later on as we finish this broadcast tonight. So, John Sadler, he's got 2 horses in this race, guys. He's got the 13, and he also has one of my top choices, the 8, Ragged Rose. Now, he's got Rispoli on the 11. He's got Perda Vida on the 13. Here's some stats for you. John Sadler with Umberto Rispoli is 4 for 8, 50% at this meet, with a $14 ROI. So, in John Sadler has preferred to go to Rispoli at this meet. It's one of his main go-to guys. Meanwhile, Joel Rosario is only 3 for 18 with Sadler, with a negative ROI of $1.40. Again, I know it's always tricky to play the jockey game. It doesn't always work out, but I have to take those stats into consideration. It's why I like the 11 more than the 13. But again, if the workout report says the 13 is really good, I might have to change my mind. On paper, the works look good. But to win from the 13 hole, going 6 furlongs on the turf, is an extremely difficult ask, in my opinion. I'm also, as C, is going to use the 5, Varoma, who has breeding on the sire side out of a trippy mare. This horse is going to show speed. Speed is always dangerous in these races. I might end up upgrading the 5 a little bit just because she's going to show speed. But she's been against cheaper. I'm also going to be using the 9, Kind But She Lies, who is the 1 horse in the Lunatic race. Again, had to rush up from the inside at Los Alamitos. No chance at all. This horse is bred out of Street Cry with Curlin on the sire side. Has good works, blinkers on. There's Cruel Jack again. I think she's going to get a completely different trip that she got last time. Maybe she takes to the turf. And the other horse I'm going to use is the 12 as a C, Q-Tip. for Mike Pipey, Jose Valdivia. This horse is dropping down first lay 6, outside post, just as a maybe. So guys, this last race, and ladies, this is a very difficult race. I mean, there's just no good way to say it. This last race is an absolute cluster. Do what you want with this race, but I think you absolutely have to spread. So that is my analysis in general of the pick 6. So where does that take us? That takes us now to my tickets. And as most of you know, if you've been paying attention to this channel, I like the ABC ticket maker method. Guys, this is a pick 6. You got to spend some money in this race. If that ticket I'm going to show you is way too big, totally understand. Get some friends together, get 4 or 5 people together and split the ticket, or just make some decisions and play a much cheaper ticket. I would completely understand that without a problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is my ABC ticket. As of now, again, this could definitely change after I look at workout reports and make some final decisions. This ticket is worth $234.40 for 20 cents. And the one thing you're going to notice right off the bat is I'm spreading in race 5, the first leg, and I'm spreading in race 10, the last leg. To me, the first race and the last race are by far the biggest spread races, and you're going to have to go deep. You can see I'm singling Whisper Not in race 6 for the most part. I'm also going to single A on the 6 horse, the Gary and Mary West horse in the stake race in race 7. Again, feel free to screenshot. You can watch the replay of this. I might change this ticket a little bit, but that is my $234 20-cent pick 6. Again, if that's a lot of money for you, which for some people it absolutely might be, get some people together, get some friends together, pool your money together, or you can just simply play a smaller ticket. If that seems like a lot of money for you, listen, this is my main play of the day. I'm going to play some other things. I'm playing in a contest, all live money contest on Saturday at Santa Anita. Also might play a live money contest at Aqueduct. But in terms of my betting within the races, other than the contest, this is my main play of the day. I may not play any other live money race at Santa Anita other than the contest I'm playing in, except for this pick 6. I think most people bring, a lot of people would bring $200 to the track or whatever on a certain day. Again, I mean, no disrespect in any way, shape, or form to anyone's pocketbooks. Some people bring $50 to the track. Some people bring $1,500 to the track or more. Again, it depends on where your bankroll is and what your financial situation is. Let's go and look at a caveman ticket. Now, I've talked about caveman tickets before. This is where you're not weighing them even. You're weighing every horse evenly. I have 2 caveman tickets I want to present to you. They are cheaper. One's an $84 caveman, and the other one is a $105 caveman. The main difference between the 2 cavemen is, do you want to single again in race 7 with the 6 horse, who I think is the most likely winner, but it's a 2-year-old race, and I'm always a little bit dubious because you never know how 2-year-olds are going to react when they take pressure. But if you can single and be successful, the 2 6s in the second and third leg, that really gives you a chance to spread out in race 8, which you might want to do. So basically, if you look carefully, the first leg and the second leg are the same, and the leg 5 and leg 6 are the same. So the only difference basically are the middle 2 legs 3 and 4. If you want to single the 6 in race 7, that'll give you a chance to spread and pretty much have, in my opinion, have the Thunder Road stake covered. Again, just my opinions. Feel free to make any changes, adjustments that you'd like, but there are my pick 6 cavemen tickets. I will definitely be playing the ABC ticket, though. Will it be this exact ticket? I'm not quite sure yet. I'm still have to play around with some things. So the other thing I'd like to show you very quickly here are the other 2 stake races. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these. These are outside of the pick 6 sequence. But you also have the Las Virgenes. This is a mile dirt race, 3 old fillies. It's a very short field. It's only 5 horses. I'm pretty sure that's why Santa Anita has decided to take this race out of the pick 6. Completely understandable. I think Moonlight Doro could be an absolute monster. This is a Kentucky Oaks contender for sure. She stalked and pounced very easily last time. There's a lot of speed, by the way, in this race. I don't think this horse has to be on the lead. I think she's a very likely winner. Obviously, she's even money. I'm not really saying anything that most people do not know. And the other horse, sorry, I need to show you, excuse me, I need to switch screens. My fault. I apologize for that. The other horse, so let me go back and show you again. Moonlight Doro, there's the 3. There's, like I said, there's a lot of speed in this race. I like Moonlight Doro quite a bit. I think she's going to stalk and pounce to Richard Mandela. This is a Kentucky Oaks contender for sure, possibly a future star. The other horse I like is Miraz, who actually ran against Moonlight Doro first time. Had absolutely no chance, lost by 16 lengths, but came back in the next race at Santa Anita about a month ago, ran very well, looked like a completely different horse, has got a lot of upside from Michael McCarthy. There's a lot of speed. Miraz would be my other choice. I wouldn't use anyone else in that race in any horizontal bet for sure. I notice Ramon has a question. I'm going to update my ticket on Twitter. Yes, I will do that. I will update my ticket on Twitter, or at least the changes. I'm not going to be able to give you the whole ticket on Twitter, I don't think, but I will tell you about some changes, or I'll make some comments about my ticket on Twitter once that comes about. The other race is the Grade 2, Race 4, the San Marcos Stakes. Again, I'm not going very deep here. I do like a horse quite a bit. He might even go off the favorite, the 2 Master of Foxhounds, who ran a very nice race last time, second time in this country. Distance should not be a problem at all. I think this horse is going to get a perfect trip on the inside for Joel Rosario. He's a little bit slower on the figs than some of these others, but he's progressive against a lot of horses that are much older than him and don't have the upside. I like Master of Foxhounds quite a bit on Saturday. And I also like the 6 Oscar Dominguez as my other A. This horse has the best numbers. This is a dead closer. I'm not a big fan of that. Sometimes he gets there, sometimes he doesn't. But one thing is he almost always runs. I think there is a little bit of pace to set up. Even if there's not, I think he still fits in this race. And he's an A. The other B I'm going to use is the Speed Acclimate. This is a 7-year-old who figures to be on the lead. I could have flip-flopped Acclimate and Oscar Dominguez. If this horse gets loose, he has a good chance to win. Not sure if he really classes up, though, with Oscar Dominguez. I could be wrong. You have to use all 3 of them in a horizontal bet. But really, the top choice is the horse that looks slower on paper, at least, but I think has the most upside, and that is the 2 Master of Foxhounds for Rockingham Ranch, Richie Baltas, and Joel Rosario. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to answer a few questions. Now would be a great time to ask some questions. If you're watching on the chat, I'm going to respond to a few that people have mentioned. I also, one other thing, if you read the scroll below, I'm going to put out on Mondays a recap show. It's not going to be live. I'm going to do a show on Monday that I'll put out a video sort of recapping my bet from before. I want to have full disclosure here. I know a lot of public handicappers, some of them will make a bet and then they won't talk about the bets they make. Ladies and gentlemen, the bottom line is you're going to lose more of these pick 5s, pick 6s than you win. That's just a fact. You have to accept that. What you have to do is when you hit, you need to hit big. And so this ticket, I think, has a chance to hit big. It's not easy to hit these tickets. Hopefully I'll hit it on Saturday. It's not going to be easy, obviously. The second leg is going to be huge. If Whisper Not doesn't win, my chance to go down quite a bit, at least in my liking. So Mondays I'll put out a video that recaps the pick from the week before, and then Thursday I'll put out usually a live stream. We are getting an increasing number of people watching. That's fantastic. And again, if you're watching this as a replay, thank you for watching this. Please try to watch it live so we can increase our chat and get more conversation going. Barry O'Brien asked any thoughts on Derby preps at Aqueduct of Tampa. Barry, I've not really taken a deep dive into the looks at Aqueduct at Tampa. I know the Withers is being run at Aqueduct on Saturday, and I believe the Sam F. Davis, if I recall, is run also Saturday at Tampa. I have not looked at those races closely yet. I don't want to just throw out names just to be cute. I have to look at those races. Super Bowl pick. I'll tell you what. I love watching Mahomes. I love Tom Brady. This is just to me, in my lifetime, and I'm turning 50 years old this summer. So depending on how old you guys out there watching, but in my lifetime, I honestly think we're watching probably two of the best quarterbacks in my lifetime playing in the same game in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady's the GOAT. I mean, he's the best of all time. I don't think there's a question. Patrick Mahomes, if he continues to, stays healthy, he's going to be right up there. It's a tremendous matchup. I would lean towards the Chiefs, but I am concerned they have some injuries on their offensive line, and Tampa has a very good front seven and can rush the passer. So if the Chiefs can handle the Tampa Bay defensive line, I think the Chiefs will win. But that's the whole key to the game to me, is can the Chiefs offensive line hold off Tampa Bay's pass rush? To me, that's the whole key to the game. I have no real predictions. I'm really not a big sports bettor. I'll stick to the horses. Those are tough enough as they are. So a few other questions. Ramon has another question. Have I ever purchased a workout report? Any particular ones to look at? Absolutely, Ramon. I would have one main suggestion for you. If you are looking to get a workout report out west at Santa Anita, the National Turf, to me, that's the name of the workout report, National Turf. Andy Harrington is the clocker out there. I think he does a tremendous job. He has several works on each horse. He has grades for each workout. To me, it's the best workout report out there. It's called National Turf. It's, I believe, about $12 for a card. It does not come out until 24 hours before the race. So if you want the card for this Pick 6, for that workout report from Andy Harrington and the National Turf, you do have to wait until, dinner time, early evening, tomorrow night on Friday. But listen, if you're going to put in a decent amount of money, $100 or more, what's $12 if it's going to give you a lot of information? I do believe in workout reports. DRF has many good workout reports. Mike Welsh has workout reports for Florida. I can't recall off the top of my head who does the workout reports for DRF in California. Those are not quite as thorough as Andy Harrington's workout report, but they are good, especially for Gulfstream. Those are the two workout reports. So out east, I would say DRF's clocker reports. And for Santa Anita, I would say Andy Harrington's workout reports from National Turf. Any workout report's going to cost you between $10 to $15. Again, I think it's an excellent resource. I do not get clocker reports every time I handicap, but on bigger days or days where I'm going to spend more money, I do look at the clocker reports. Fireman Medic, I've seen you respond. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Yes, Bruno also is a very good workout. Bruno DiGiulio, you can find his, I'm sure you just Google him. He has good workout reports. I believe Fireman Medic, I think those are only for California. I could be wrong about that. But those are also good workout reports to look at. So, ladies and gentlemen, unless there are any further questions, I'm just looking at the chat, and I don't see anything else coming up right now. Again, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Please spread the word about Howard's Horse Handicapping and this channel. Spread the word about my live streams. I'd like to have 20, 30, 50, hundreds of people listening and viewing. Each of my videos I've sent out, I've had close to 100 or more people watching, and I've only been on the YouTube channel here for only about a week and a half. So I appreciate that. If you are a viewer of the Matt Bernier show, you've seen me 3 times on his show, and hopefully I've given you some good picks and have brought some entertainment along the way. This is a tough game. I love to hear from everyone. I don't have all the answers, but hopefully we can find some winners for you. I've been really hot lately, and hopefully we can keep that going on Saturday. Just as in closing, again, there'll be video coming out on Monday. I'll be live most likely again next Thursday. Please join me on that live stream. And Ramon and others people, I will send out through Twitter either a picture, or I'll send out just typed in my revised ABC ticket after I do get some workouts, because I do think that is important for this particular pick 6 sequence at Santa Anita. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining me. Again, this has been Howard Kravitz on Howard's Horse Handicapping. Good luck this weekend. Go get him. Crush that pick 6. And we will see you through video next Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.